While that is very important to me, and I smile on many occasions thinking back about stories and times we've had together, I think the one thing that I would say about you both is that I've admired your commitment. What you've, the life that you've lived and the way that you have handled yourselves as a couple and individually, to me has meant so much to watch how it should be done. And I have learned from you that when you give your life to the mission of God's path for your life, and you follow it with excellence and perseverance and with intentionality to make sure that you give every day your best, whether it's in good times or bad times, you stay committed and focused, and you stay respectful to your other people around you, and you treat them, your fellow man, with such kindness and consideration. I have learned all of those things by watching you both. And I love you dearly. I hope the next few years for you are a time of rest and peace and reflection and just the rewards of what it means to live a life for God's kingdom, a life very well lived. God bless you both.
I realize many of you probably don't know who I am, but you will know my name once you hear it because you get emails from me all the time. I'm Cindy Phillips, and I'm the director of, what am I? Yes, accountability and assessments. But among the few people here today, I have known Ron and Carol almost the longest, I think. Because I met Ron and Carol on August 23rd, 1980, in the choir room in the music hall trying out for singers. So most of you weren't even born. I wasn't nervous until Ron said, "What part do you sing?" And I said, "Alto." And he said, "Oh, my wife's an alto." And then I thought, oh, he's going to be judging me based on what she can sing, and I might not can sing that good. Of all those many years, I have come to understand that Ron is a very special person. Through my work with singers, he was also my work study supervisor. I had to help work in financial aid, but I also scheduled singers to stay in different houses. And one year, we were going back to the same church in St. Augustine. The year before, I had had a bad experience in the house I stayed in. So I purposely scheduled myself not to have to stay at that house. The lady recognized me in the risers, went to Ron and said, "Oh, we need her at our house." So he looked at me and said, "Well, you gotta do it." They only had 13 cats and 7 children in their house. Any of you ever seen Ron direct a choir? Anybody ever seen Ron direct? His moves put Elvis to shame. If you ever saw that. So I have a lot of admiration for Ron, not only as a great leader, but as a person. I babysat his children. He would pass along, my husband and I were not married yet, pass along a lot of wisdom about how to be a young married, how to endure life, how to, when you have children, make sure you hold them real tight so they'll want to go to bed instead of being held real tight. Ron's leadership will leave an indelible mark at Emmanuel College. When you think of Emmanuel, you think of Ron all the way back to the 60s when he was a student here. His relentless passion for education and unwavering commitment to the success of the college will not be forgotten. We're bidding you farewell on your retirement, but not farewell. But we celebrate your legacy, and with profound gratitude, thank you for your years of service to our community.
Well, I didn't think I would need to say who I am, but somebody told me, one of the students told me the other day, well, I said, "I'm Greg Hearn." He said, "Oh, you're Greg Hearn. I've heard that name, but I've never known you really existed." So apparently I'm in the shadows or whatever, but I'm Greg Hearn, the Executive Vice President and CFO. And I actually came to Emmanuel because President White asked me to when he came. And at that time, we were acquaintances, I guess I would say. I'd known him since 1980 as well, or really 78 probably, when I graduated from high school and came to Emmanuel. And then as we've served over the last 9 years, we became colleagues, and now we've become friends. And it is sad to me that he's leaving. I understand that there's a time for everything, and this is his time to enjoy the benefits and the rewards of his labor, but we will definitely miss him. He served with integrity. He always tried to do what's right. I can vouch for that. He served with compassion, even when tough decisions had to be made. He never took those lightly, and he knew that people were affected. And it troubled him at times when, even though he knew he was doing what was right, out of a heart of compassion, he was sorrowful for the people affected. And I witnessed that and know he cares deeply for every student here and for every member of our staff and faculty and administration. He served with faith, and he served in the spirit of prayer. He has directed Emmanuel back to its mission during his tenure, and we're more focused on our mission of reaching people for Christ and discipling students than we've ever been before, I think, at least in my lifetime, and that's because of his leadership. And so, President White, there are going to be students whose eternal destiny has been changed and will be in heaven with us all because of your leadership, and you need to be proud of that. That is, in my opinion, his greatest contribution. His tenure has been characterized by leading us through some crises, and that's a euphemism for really bad times. But he led us through those things, and even though his tenure might be known for that, really his direction toward Christ and putting prayer first will be what will last forever. So thank you, President White, for allowing me to serve with you, and thank you for the contribution you've made to the life of Emmanuel College.
Since everybody is introducing themselves, I understand that people don't even know who I am around here sometimes. I'm Janet Coleman. I'm the Vice President for Academics, so all the faculty report through my office. And of those of us who are asked to make comments, I'm the one who has known President White the least amount, just being almost 2 years since he asked me to take on this role. I could say it's because I haven't been born since 1980, but I think none of you would believe that. So, serving my second year here, but I already feel like I know you a whole lot longer than that. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that your love for Emmanuel College, it has just been evident to me, and your willingness to share the history from the time you were students, both of you, the funny stories, the serious things, everything that you have gone through. You have been more than willing to talk to me, to share your stories with me, give me advice along the way, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. I thank you for your great love for this place, because it is evident in everything that you do. It's been my honor, it's been my great honor to serve under you. I didn't think it was going to be this hard. So I know everybody here only wishes you both the best in your retirement. It's well deserved. I know that you're on to your next chapter, whether it's camping, being with the kids, being with the grandkids, just having that time to deserve family time, to enjoy life, well deserved. May God bless you and your family richly for your faithful service here to his Emmanuel College. Thank you.
$168 hours in a week. If you do the math on 31 years, that's over 270,000 hours Dr. White has given to Emmanuel College. I think about those hours in terms of moments of his life. I think about moments in terms of, do moments define us as people, or do we define moments? I think Dr. White is a man who has defined the moments of his career at Emmanuel College. Two of the things that stand out to me the most, and Dr. Phillips, I had the privilege and the pleasure of getting on a lot of buses with Dr. White as well on Singers Tour. I also had the privilege of working with him as a student in the admissions office. He kicked me out of the admissions office one night because I was talking too much. Not on the phone like I was supposed to be doing, but had the opportunity to serve with him in that role, and now I've had a unique opportunity to come back as a staff member and serve under your presidency. And the two moments that stand out to me the most are, from my time as a student, I learned the value of defining the moment through leadership. I watched Dr. White, you serve in a number of capacities and in a number of roles, but I also always watched him serve with love for Emmanuel College. And so, Dr. White, thank you for teaching me what it means to love Emmanuel and to serve well. The moment that I learned most about your time as the president was not your navigation through the crises, which was exceptional, but it was your heart for prayer. The moment that you were able to define over the last 9 years has been to teach me how to pray above all else. When nothing else seems to make sense, and when prayer really doesn't even seem to make sense, we still stop to pray. And so those two defining moments that you as a leader impacted into my life and into the life of this college, I say thank you. We bless you. We honor you in your retirement, and may God bless you.
As Dr. Coleman said, I'll introduce myself as well. My name is Paula Dixon, and I've been on faculty here for a few years, and one of the fun courses I have the privilege of teaching is the Intro to Comm. That's basically our public speaking course. So I'm going to really get a hard time for bringing my notes up here like this, but it's also because I'm scared to death of Pastor Chris. He runs a tight ship, does he not? 2 to 3 minutes. I'm probably already over 30 seconds. So I appreciate the opportunity to share with you today, and thank you, President White and Ms. Carroll, for all that you have done. When President White came here about 10 years ago to serve as our 9th president at the college, I was then serving as our public relations director, and I had known he and Ms. Carroll from years earlier when I came here in 1995. They were serving then. Ms. Carroll was on faculty in our music department, and if you don't know this about her, she's a very gifted and talented musician. I wish we could have talked her into being able to play for us today. She plays the piano like a dream. And then President White at the time, Ron to me, was heading up our admissions office, as Dr. whoever you are said. I'm trying to be formal up here, and he's just Kirk to me. But anyway, we didn't necessarily work closely together, but we sat through a lot of meetings together, and we certainly knew each other well. And so I learned to really appreciate them both. When he came back here, as I said, their home, if you don't know, is about 45 minutes away from here, 45-minute drive. You know you're in the country when you don't say miles, you say minutes. And I told him one day, I said, your commute is killing me, because he thinks all the time. He's analyzing all the time. He's processing. What can we do to improve? How can we be more efficient? And so that was his processing time. So several of us on his team would get emails at random hours around the clock of a new idea he had or something we were going to do to change, to improve things. And so I appreciate that about him, because I want you to know he's a hard worker. I don't think anybody is going to outwork Ron White. He works very hard, and it's because he believes in you. It's because he believes in this college and the mission that we have here. So, sir, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you both have done, all of the sacrifices, and we wish you the best in your retirement. Thank you.
TJ Rosine, men's basketball coach, and really excited to celebrate and appreciate the two of you. Start with you, Mrs. White. I think anybody that has tried to accomplish something great understands the power of praying and understanding wife. And while you were behind the scenes, and I know this from experience, and many of us do, that none of that's possible without you, your sacrifice, your understanding, your love, and your prayer. So if you would, just join me in giving her a hand for being our wife. We thank you for your sacrifice. President White, just a big salute to you. I remember as a boy, my dad put a poster over my bed, and it was of Martin Luther King, and it said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but challenge and controversy." And many students might not have the full grasp or understanding of what you stepped into. And we were perhaps in our darkest moment here at Emmanuel College, where we did not know if it would continue. Whether I'd have the opportunity to coach basketball, or you'd have the opportunity to be the pastor, or you'd have the opportunity to sing, or any of us would have the opportunities that are in front of us. And when most people will run away from the fire, you ran into the fire. And you said, "God, I'll go. I'll take on this challenge." And heavy is the head that wears the crown, which most people will not understand. Probably burdens that were laid on you daily, thinking about how will we make it through? How will this happen? And you leaned into God. You leaned into him and said, "I don't know how, but with you there is a way, and I will be the messenger. I will be the person that is okay carrying this burden for Emmanuel College." And when I look around this room, what I know, the lives that have been changed, the opportunities that have been had, are absolutely not possible if you don't answer that call from God and take that burden and put it on your shoulders. And so, as we are all here, we're recipients of what you had to carry. And I think that deserves a grand round of applause. So please join me. So on behalf of all of us, obviously a big thank you, but I think from the Lord, that you would answer that call and that you would take on what you have taken on. I think there's riches in heaven for you for doing that, the lives that have been affected. And so I think from all of us, to definitely you, Dr. White, but also definitely you, Mrs. White, to be able to answer that call so that this place can be what it is, that it can continue on, and not just the lives that were changed now, but the lives that will be changed for years to come because of you answering the call. So I celebrate you for that. Thank you very much.
I would like for those of you, except for TJ's going to stay up here with me, but those who spoke, I'd like for you to go stand with Dr. White and Carol. We're going to pray for them now. Toward the end of the service, he is going to be up here, and Dr. White is going to pray for those who are graduating. We just want to pray God's blessings on you guys. So anyone else who would like to be closer, and if you are not close, please extend your hands toward them as a way of just praying the blessings of the Lord upon them.